What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Devious Bodafent, also known as Bodo, once here and again making you a video about ArcheAge. Now, the last video I've made is talk about classes. More about skill trees. It was kind of messy and sloppy. I was going through a lot of the skill trees, kind of talking what's in them and what's not in them, how they work and stuff like that. But I felt like if you are brand new, you want something more generalized, or if you are a Advent person in the game and you know a lot of the skills and abilities, you probably want also something more generalized just to see what benefits you in certain areas. So I made this PowerPoint presentation kind of explaining the different things within the class system for skill trees that would help benefit in other areas, and also I've labeled them so you're like, okay, like that, if I want the utility, I want this. There's some utility in here, but if I want the most utility, I want this thing right here. So yeah. So shall we get started? I think so. ArcheAge making the class. Take 256. Boom, there we are. Types. What types are there? There's 3 types. If there's any more, that'd be very strange. So the 3 types of damage that we have here is magic, archer, and melee. And I've kind of, put in what skill tree does what. So if we look under magic, occultism, sorcery, witchcraft, archer, archery, melee, battle rage, shadow play. Now, the reason why I did this is that for some odd reason, people were like, oh no, man, sorcery, you got some utility, man, and some, now you got CC, yeah, man, it's like utility, man. Like, no, you're an idiot. It's magic damage, that's what it is classified as. If you wanted to use magic damage, all 3 of these are fine to use by themselves. You can mix them up. You could have, occultism sorcery or occultism witchcraft, no matter which way you want to go. It's straight magic damage. You do have some CC effects in there, you got some other stuff, some nice little goodies to add to your kit, but if you want the magic damage, the raw magic damage, you got 3 places to pick from, and they're very different and unique from each other. And they work well in different scenarios too. Archer, really only got one to really fight over, which is archery, so it's really easy to go if you want to use a bow and arrow, you got one skill tree to really choose from. But because it is one skill tree, it's not limited. There's a lot of things in there. And we're going to talk about that in a bit. Melee, you got battle rage and shadow play. Battle rage is the main form of melee damage right now because it has the majority of melee damage comes from battle rage. Shadow play, it's a very mixed hybrid type of feeling, but you get really good moment of opportunity and massive burst damage coming out of shadow play if you use it right. Like, if you're brand new and you start using shadow play, you're gonna say it sucks a load of donkey poop. But if you know exactly what you're doing in the situation, you can just kill somebody with 2 combos from shadow play easily, especially if they're like a cloth wearer. So these are the types of damage. Now let's talk about some things you want to add to those damage. Now the reason why I've labeled these skill trees as subclasses, because when you want to make a class, you want to think of what do you want to do? You want to be an archer, you want to be melee, you want to be some type of hybrid, you want to be a magic damage dealer. Well, even if you pick what type of damage you want to do, you need something to back it up. So that's why I've kind of did this as like a subclass type of thing, because it's not really defining your class, it's what you're adding to your kit. Now, let's say you want more defense. Let's say you think you're dying a lot using magic. So you want to be more on the buffy side, the big bubby. You want to be the big bubby. You want to do the damage and you want to take the damage. Big bubby magic damage dealer. Well, defense is one for you. If you want to be more of a supporty, you were like, you know what, I don't want to be the big bubby, I want to be the little bubby that helps the big bubby. Well, Songcraft and Vitalism, you want to support your allies. Not only will it benefit you, but it greatly benefits the people that you're playing with. And everybody likes somebody that is willing to, take something that kind of hurts them when they try to solo play, but really benefits people when you're in a group play. So, going off of those support classes, Songcraft and Vitalism, very, very nice to have, especially if you're in PvE. Utility-wise, there's a lot of utility in different classes, but there's one class that like separates it the most, and that's Oromancy. Oromancy is like full utility. There's a lot of things going for you. CC breakers, immunity to CCs, displacement abilities. There's a lot of things going there. So if you want, I don't want to say survivability, but more trickery in play and outsmarting an opponent, Oromancy is very nice to have. Now you can do this with other classes depending on how you play it and how it's set up. But let's say you're playing something that doesn't have a lot of movement and you don't want shadow play, take Oromancy. Very, very nice. So let's talk more about magic. Now magic, you kind of a skill range of 0 to 20 meters. This is kind of like the general consensus of magic damage, 0 to 20 meters. So that's why I got it like that. There's probably some abilities that are like 23, 22, maybe 25 meters, but that's kind of like the general overall magic damage. CC effects, you got trip, snares, fierce sleeps, and stuns. All sorts of type of CCs, which is really nice in a fight because you can screw with people. Like, they'll be like, oh my gosh, does he have the fear, the sleep, does he have stun, should I pop this, should I use that, oh my gosh, I get close to him. Is he going to use the fear, is he going to use the sleep, what's going on, man? You can really screw with people a lot, which is really nice. And the nice thing about this, because not only do you get the damage side of it, but also the trickery with the CC effects you can have, it really synergizes with like anything. Like if you want to be an archer and you want to pick up sorcery, that's perfectly fine. You don't consider yourself a hybrid, archer, bowsman with, two-hand staff, wizard. You're not considering yourself a hybrid. You just want that sorcery for the extra utility that you like from it. Like it really does mix really, really well with almost any type of class setup, mix, match, you name it. The one thing though is that it can be quite a bit of a mana drain, depending on your build. If you want to use it to help support say like a melee class, it can be kind of a mana drain. If you want to go like a full magic damage class, there are ways to help sustain your mana and actually increase the amount of mana that is depleting. But that's more higher level stuff. When you first start out though, it's a huge mana drain. It kind of sucks. On to Archer. Skill range 0 to 20 meters. There is a passive that buffs up every skill range. That is a ranged ability by 5 meters, which is really, really nice. So you can kind of think of it as 0 to 25 meters. And because of this, the Archer is out of kind of CC range. People are texting me. Oh no. So yeah. So you get quite a good slows out of this and stuns. Now the nice thing about the slows and stuns from Archer, if you want to be an archery, there's not a lot, but what you have is very good. Now it's not like a hard CC, but the cooldown's short enough that there's like a 5-second window where they're not slowed or kind of stunned, and a lot of the stun side of the Archer you can really set up to do a lot of burst damage depending on how you have your skill tree set up. So it's a really nice class, Archer. I find it's kind of amusing playing as an Archer because you can trick people because they'll think you're just long range, but if you come close enough where they're like, oh, they're dead, they're 15 meters away, and then you gap close to them, they're kind of like in shock and awe, so you have no idea what the hell you're doing, and you just do like 3k damage right there and then. As soon as you gap close to them, they're just kind of like, okay, I don't even want to be near this guy, but I don't want to be away from him at the same time. It's really nice to screw with people if you can effectively make a really good bowsman class. Has the best synergy with shadow play, by the way. Archery and shadow play, really good synergy. Not only long range synergy, but close range synergy, movement synergy. A lot of things coming out of shadow play for Archer. Constant mana drain though in PvE. That's one kind of the shitty things, is that you deplete a lot of mana potions and a lot of mana food. Melee, short range, 0 to 4 meters, include long range abilities. Reason why I said this is that yes, most of the melee damage is 0 to 4 meters, sometimes 8 meters. But you have a lot of long range abilities open to you for it's a gap closer or damage ability. The nice thing though is that, oh my god, please stop texting me. is that the CC effects, the trips and snares from this, there's many of them. A lot of different combos that you can have. Now the nice thing about this is that you can trick people because they'll think that they see a certain ability, they know it's on the cooldown, when in fact you can use another ability to replace that ability to still get the same effect out of it, which is really nice as a melee because they're very I don't want to say very unpredictable, but they are like, I can't even speak. It's fighting against somebody that's really good at melee, that knows how to bait people. It's kind of jaw dropping. It's fun to watch too. But yeah, it's they're very unpredictable, especially if you're looking for certain abilities. They can just use something else to do the same effect. Very good combo CC, like I just said. Has 2 good skill trees, Battle Rage and Shadow Play. Now the reason why I say they're like both good, Battle Rage is the majority of melee damage. Shadow Play is more of a hybrid type of mobility melee damage, but it's the melee damage out of it's very moment of opportunity, so you gotta set up your target to apply that damage. And if you're a skilled player, you can do it. If you're new, it's a hell of a learning curve. That's all I gotta say about it. I don't really want to go too deep onto it because it's kind of a waste of breath. Really, once you've tried it out and played it, you'll see what I mean. It mixes smoothly with almost every class, especially like Shadow Play and Battle Rage, because there is a lot of, kind of in itself gap closers and trips and stuns. It's adding a lot of kits within its own trees. It has a lot of combos that mix between its individual skills within that tree, so it's really friendly mixing with other skill trees. Kind of like sorcery, which none of the combos mix, but the combos within that tree and the combos within that tree really synergize well for you do a combo here to do a gap closer and damage, you can do a combo here to do a close quarters damage CC, and then with the other tree use like a combo to get a good escape. It's stuff like that that really synergize well and work well with each other. I really like that. Now more on the tank side. If you want to be the big puppy and not take that much damage, you got really good damage reduction. Now this is the defense skill tree, by the way. Really good damage reduction, health buff, invincibility skill, aggro generation, stun and trips. Touch on a buff because it's really self-explanatory. The the invincibility skill. It's really good to bait people out damage-wise, and it's really good to recover from like cooldown separation. So if you're like, oh crap, I could kill him with a certain combo because I'm such low health, but if I use this combo, it's going to kill them, but it's offset. If you can get yourself away, use the invincibility to kind of, not take any damage if he does some type of long damage. You can really bait out damage and recover from cooldown separation. The nice thing too is that if you're doing PvE, it helps you from taking, big attacks or big burst damage from a boss. Also, the aggro generation is a huge plus because you don't want them attacking your squishies, your little bubby, which is trying to help the big bubby. You want to be the big bubby and take all the damage and soak it up. So it's really nice for soaking. Stuns and trips, once again, add something to your kit. Good in PvP, good in PvE. Support wise, now this is the Suncraft and the Vitalism. You have a metric crap ton of buffs. Health buffs, buffs, cooldown buffs, buffs for your buff. A lot of buffs. That's all I gotta say, just buffs. A lot of healing too, even out of Songcraft, you get some really good healing. Vitalism is more of the healing tree. You get a lot of heals out of there. Now, they're not like, oh my god heals, which are like, someone's at 10% health and you put them up to 90% health. They're more of soaking heals, so it's like, it helps a certain party take a certain amount of damage. Resistance increases quite a lot. Really big resistant increases too, not small ones. Like, you can apply a short duration of a magic and armor resistance to a tank, and it can almost like soak up half the damage that it would do to what it would do without it. Like, really good. Also auras too, like they're not just targeted resistance increases, also auras as well, which are passives. Really nice. Mana transfer, you know, help your tank if he needs to use one of his threat abilities and needs low on mana, and cure debuffs. If you're very skilled and you can see what people are being affected by, you can use this out of the Vitalism tree to cure debuffs. Really, really nice. Really good 2 trees to support a large group of people with. Utility wise, this is the Auramancy. You get all of this just out of that one tree. You get Blink and a Teleport, CC Breaker, which also some of the CC breaks have immunity for a couple of seconds from that particular type of CC. You got a nice Sleep, which can steal buff. You got a healing buff, magic damage reduction, and a really solid debuff, which reduces their attack speed and their movement speed. So really, really nice utility coming out of that. Just that one skill tree, Auramancy. It's really, really nice. I really recommend it to people if they want it. They're kind of running a class that doesn't really have a lot of like movement abilities or displacements, and want to pick up, you know, some CC breakers just because they're a little bit squishy. Really nice skill tree to incorporate into your class builder. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the PowerPoint. I'm gonna scroll back up here to the types. Once again, you can see if you want magic damage, Occultism, Sorcery, Witchcraft. Want to be an archer? Look on an archery, melee, battle, rage, and shadow play. And the subclasses we just talked about. You want to be a tank. You want the defense, support, songcraft, vitalism, songcraft. Benefits a bigger group more than vitalism. Vitalism, it's kind of a half, you know. It's mostly pinpoint target healing with a little bit of AoE healing. It's a really cool mix. Utility, Auramancy. Once again, if you need that extra utility, you can get it all from that one skill tree. Really, really nice. Adds a lot to your kick. Okay. So yes, my phone is ringing off the hook, and we're dragging on this video. So once again, it's DVS Bodafet from DVS Gaming, and I hope to see you guys around. Please comment, you know, subscribe, give it a thumbs up, tell me if this video was complete utter crap and your ears were bleeding the entire time and you wish I had better music than gay bar beats. You know, just put something in the comments, say what's up or say that you suck. I really don't care. I like seeing what people have to say. So, bye bye.